Hello and welcome to the talkSPORT Goals Preview Show. It's brought to you by Final One Standing, new from William Hill, 18 plus, thegambleaware.org. I'm Sam Ellard, and joining me to look ahead to all of the action this weekend is Lee Phelps from William Hill. Hi Lee, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm brought to you by Cheltenham COVID today, so I've been recovering from a fantastic week in Cheltenham all week long. But Final One Standing, it was carnage last weekend. All those draws, not good for Final One Standing players. We've got two players in a 20k game going head-to-head this weekend. You'll never believe which teams they've picked. One's gone Newcastle. We'll come on to all this. Yeah. One's gone Fulham. I'm not sure about either of those picks, but yeah, 20k up for grabs between two players left. So we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, new league starting 3 p.m. Saturday as usual.
And we've got another new one this Saturday, Lee.
Yeah.
And how much is that jackpot?
20k.
Happy days. Good stuff. There we go. It might be entering the end of the season, but there's always a new Final One standing. Make sure you get involved. Lee, let's go game by game, shall we? As we always do. We've got a game this evening. Bournemouth, Man United. United third. They're 6 clear of 6th place now. A bit of a gap developing for United. Bournemouth 10th, a couple of points off a European sport. Bournemouth unbeaten in their last 5 Premier League games against Man United. But since Michael Carrick took charge of United in January, the Red Devils have won more Premier League games and got more Premier League points than any other side. They are going okay, Lee. And do you expect that good run to continue tonight?
Hard one to call. I think it's a hard one to call. I think there are a few games this weekend that are tricky. Bournemouth are just over 2-1 at home. So you might be tempted by that. 13-5 the draw, 21-20 the win for Man United. There's an epic boost on this one, as there will be across the weekend for the various featured Premier League games. It's Man United to score in the first half. Remember they had 8 goals in the reverse fixture of this. 2 of those were before half time for Man United in that game. And they scored a first half goal at Newcastle as well. I think it was very late in the first half, but all count, don't they? So yeah, there's your epic boost, even money from odds on. I'm not sure on the result. I've gone with the bet builder on this. You get impact sub as well. I think we'll get goals again. I mean, these two sides, there's nothing to do but try and win the game, is there really? I like Matheus Cunha to be amongst the goals as well. So probably go maybe both teams to score. You could even go over 2.5 goals as well as that. Cunha scored against Villa, didn't he? Of course. And he scored against Bournemouth for Wolves last season. So I'll go with that one as well. That bet builder is 9-2 with your 25% boost on top. And like I said, you get impact sub on the player picks, whatever you put in there as well. So I'll go with that. I'll sit on the fence a little bit.
Yeah, I like United, Lee. And I think in fact that United aren't odds on, a touch above that. I think that's maybe not the worst price in the world for United, given the fact that they're in good form. Bruno Fernandes in particular is going nicely. So that's the Friday 8 o'clock game. We've got a Saturday 12:30 game that's Brighton, Liverpool 5th in the final Champions League spot, which we pretty much know is going to be 5th place now. They're 1 clear of Chelsea. Brighton, one of many teams that have got a chance of Europa League or Conference League football after just a run of 1 win 13 Premier League games. Brighton now won 3 of their last 4. Liverpool looking to do the double over Brighton for the first time since 1920. Liverpool, great performance in the week against Galatasaray, probably the best performance of the season. So United, I was quite surprised, weren't odds on to beat Bournemouth. Are Liverpool just odds on to win at Brighton, or no, just a little bit bigger than that?
Bigger than that, 6-5. So similar argument for your argument with Man United, really. Brighton 2-1, the draw 12-5. There'll be another epic boost on this one. It goes live 8 a.m. Saturday. I think it'll be Liverpool to score a goal in the first half. Did it against Spurs, did it against Galatasaray. I'm interested to get your thoughts on that Galatasaray performance. I thought the Real Madrid one was better, but because they're obviously a better team. And, I just wondered, Mo Salah just looked like back to his best, but has he found his new level, the Turkish top flight? Is it a bit unfair to say Liverpool are back just because they made mincemeat of Galatasaray, who, let's be fair about it. All right, you've done well to get this far, but they're not a powerhouse in Europe, are they?
I think both could be truly. I think bigger tests clearly come with PSG in the Champions League, Man City in the FA Cup, even Brighton away on Saturday. But given the fact that we've been pretty woeful for the vast majority of the season, Liverpool, it was a really, really impressive performance. I mean, that Madrid game at home in the Champions League, that feels like it was years ago. We were aggressive, we were on the front foot, we were pressing, we created chances. I think Mo Salah's position changed a little bit, Lee. He played a lot closer to Hugo Ekitike rather than being stuck out on the right-hand side. And I think there's no coincidence that suited his game, and he looked more dangerous. He played players in the right position, which Workley, Frimpong at right back, Szoboszlai in midfield. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he kind of sticks to that kind of formation and setup. And if we play half as well as we did against, Galatasaray in the week, I think we will have too much Liverpool for this Brighton team on Saturday.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I know all that is absolutely fair enough, and I take your view of Liverpool, very highly.
Stop being such a hater, Lee. Come on now.
Away from the result, I think look, it's no surprise. I'm going to say Dominic Szoboszlai to score or assist at 13-8. I'm not a Liverpool fan, obviously, and you'll tell me different, but I think he's got to be right up there in terms of Liverpool's player of the season. Another one that I like, and I always go on about Brighton's cards. They're right at the top of that disciplinary table, or bottom, whichever way you look at it. But they've loads of yellow cards. Diego Gomez, 23-10 to be booked here. He got yellows in both games against Liverpool this season. He's been booked in his last 2 matches as well. So I like that a lot. If you're going for a bet build, I'd stick him in to be carded. I'd stick Szoboszlai to score or assist or shots on target. Just not sure on the result. I can't trust Liverpool on the strength of beating Galatasaray at home when they were cooked already after a couple of goals. So let's just wait and see on that. But look, if you think Liverpool will go on and beat Brighton, then 6-5 is a great price, obviously.
Just one Saturday 3:00 game. That's Fulham, Burnley. Any prices jumping out here, Lee, for you?
Price. This is going to sound a bit mad, but Burnley at 5-1. I mean, look, they've won the last 3 visits to Craven Cottage without conceding. Admittedly, that's going back to 2021. Fulham's goals have dried up pretty dramatically, by the way. Jadon Anthony has had 12 shots in his last 3 games. He's over 2-1 to have 2 or more shots here. That's not shots on target. That's just shots on goal. Because the 5-1 is so big, as I've explained in a couple of previous previews that we've done, you can look at that and the prices for scorers and what players do tends to get a little bit more inflated. Just because Burnley are 5-1 to win at Fulham doesn't mean Jadon Anthony won't have a couple of shots on goal. So I like that a lot. Over 2-1 to have 2 or more shots. That's Jadon Anthony. Can you back Burnley? I mean, it's madness, isn't it? 5-1 is too big though at this Fulham side at the minute.
No. You can't back Burnley, can you? I don't know. So Fulham have got like Wilson and Iwobi and Smith Rowe and King and Chukwueze and Kevin and Oscar Bob, all these good attacking players. How's this for a hot take, Lee? They should try and sign a striker in the summer who will score the goals, and that will maybe make Fulham a better team. That's my hot take for you, Lee. Sign a striker, Fulham in the summer.
I like it.
Everton, Chelsea, Saturday 5:30. Chelsea 6th, 1 behind Liverpool. Everton in 8th, start of the day, just 5 behind Chelsea. Everton have lost just 1 of their last 8 Premier League home games against Chelsea, and Chelsea have lost 2 of their last 3 Premier League games. That's as many as they had in their previous 13. And of course, Lee, Chelsea go into this game on the back of that absolute walloping against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League.
Yeah, it was chastening, wasn't it? I like the word chastening. That was one of those where Chelsea fans have just kind of gone, oh, God, just when you thought you were maybe like climbing the ladder a little bit. Ugh. Yeah, Everton are 23-10 here, 12-5 the draw, Chelsea 11-10. So very similar to the prices that we've talked about, Bournemouth, Man United, Brighton, Liverpool, similar kind of prices here. Look, I'm not mad keen on any of the 3 prices, if I'm being honest. Everton, look, we know they've been poor at home. Managers confirmed it's going to take time at the new stadium. They need a landmark victory, don't they? Like that could be around the corner. They need a game that like lifts the roof, kind of thing, and like everyone remembers it. Because when you get a new stadium, you're trying to build memories, aren't you? And until you get those brilliant moments, it's going to be hard to kind of make it feel like it's home. Hence why Everton are much better away from home. Now Chelsea have won 6 of the last 10 away. Lost to PSG, lost to Arsenal twice, and drew at Wrexham. So I know Wrexham, but it was a changed team and all that. But I think Chelsea are probably being a little bit undervalued here. If you're looking at away from the result, Iliman Ndiaye, the man who makes things happen for Everton, of course, especially since Grealish got injured. 3 shots in the reverse fixture, hit the target with 1 of them. Over 1 Ndiaye shot on target. He's just under 4-1 here. I know he's got to get 2 on target is more than you'd expect. I'm not saying that's an absolute given. I think he gets 1 on target. If you think he can get over 1, 2 or more, just under 4-1, I'm tempted by that. But if forced, I'd go Chelsea. But I'm not that confident about.
Yeah, you
which
fill me with
Chelsea
no
ever turn
confidence
up.
whatsoever that I might skip this game, Lee. I think if I'm watching this
But
and trying to.
what's interesting is that I mean, I know that this is spanning 2 days, but those 3 games that we've talked about, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, all odds against away from home. That
Yeah.
comes to just under 9-1 as an accumulator. Add one more in, and you can boost it as well with the ACCA boost. But yeah, there's a few games like that where you think, oh, okay, if they turn up like they should.
Yeah, it's probably not often you get Liverpool, United, and Chelsea all odds against in the same Premier League weekend, right?
Yeah.
Lee, Leeds Brentford Saturday 8 o'clock. The first big game in what's going to be a massive weekend in the relegation zone. Leeds are 15th, clear three clear of the drop zone, but are winless in their last 5 Premier League games, and Leeds have lost 1-0 in their last 2 Premier League games at home against Man City and Sunderland. Brentford, we know, having a really good season, but just 1 win in 5. And they've dropped points in some silly games, Lee, over the last couple of weeks. Wolves, Bournemouth and Brighton. But, Lee, I feel like this is maybe a good moment and a good opportunity as the number one, supporter of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Do you want to pay tribute to Dominic Calvert-Lewin after, it is the largest England squad in history, but he is in it, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And hey, that you said it, didn't you? Right at the beginning of the season, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is going to the World Cup.
I'm not sure I can claim that, but I was a big supporter of his early in the season if he stayed fit, and the stats have proved that out. I think one thing we can agree on when looking at this game is that no one likes to see bees on the beach, and I got the sense that the flip-flops were out in that game against Wolves. I'm just wondering, are Brentford fully at it here? Leeds,
the flip-flops are coming out. Brentford have got a chance of playing in the Europa League next season. You think the flip-flops are coming out?
Well, I'm just saying, if there's any thought of, we've done our job here. Leeds aren't there. Leeds are like 10 out of 10, surely going for it. Even if Brentford are like 8.5 out of 10 going for it, I think at Elland Road, under the lights, I know it's a cliche, but I just wonder if Leeds want this more, and that's what maybe will get them a result. Find it hard to pick. I mean, Leeds are 29-20, the draw's 23-10, Brentford 17-10. If Brentford and Leeds play at their best, Brentford at 17-10 are a good price. I'm just not sure they will. So I'll stick with, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Igor Thiago to be involved. Again, maybe another one for a bet builder on this, but hard one to. I mean, look, we see a lot of draws at this time of the season. Teams who are down there, they tighten up, don't they? They haven't got the freedom to go and play like they did. So I think we could see a few draws in these relegation threatened games. Leeds are still well clear in the betting, though, to be fair. I mean, we've taken Burnley and Wolves out of the betting for relegation now. Leeds are 11-2 to go down.
5 games done in the Premier League. We've got 3 more to go in the Premier League and 3 big ones. And we've also got the Carabao Cup final as well to look forward to. This is the talkSPORT Goals preview show and it's brought to you by Final One Standing, which is new from William Hill. It's 18 plus, gambleaware.org. Sam Ellard and Lee Phelps are taking you through the Premier League games this weekend and also, of course, the Carabao Cup final. Let's go to Sunday now, Lee. Newcastle, Sunderland, just 2 points separating the two sides. Sunderland, incredibly, are unbeaten in their last 10 league games against Newcastle, winning 7 of the last 8. And Newcastle have scored just 1 goal in their last 6 league games against Sunderland. That's an awful record, Lee, isn't it, to have against your most fiercest rivals. And, of course, Newcastle come into this game. Quick turnaround on the back of that, tough night against Barcelona in the Champions League. How do you see this game going, Lee?
Newcastle, 13-20. It's very short. I know Sunderland are poor away from home. 14-5 the draw, 19-5 Sunderland, who do seem to have run out of steam a little. But yeah, you're right. They need to bounce back quickly. Newcastle, perfect game, I guess, after being smashed for 7 by Barcelona. For me, this game's all about 3 Anthonys: Taylor, Elanga, and Gordon, going for over 5.5 cards shown by Anthony Taylor. We saw 9 cards in the first game when they met in December. 9 yellows, that was. So I'm going for over 5.5. I'm going to go for Anthony Gordon to have a shot on target. I'm going to go for Anthony Elanga to have a shot on target as well. Both of those have impact sub. I thought Elanga was one of the highlights in the Barca game. I know it was a bad night, but I think he played well. Anthony Gordon, 8 shots on target in his last 4 in the Premier League. So whatever happens in the result, and I don't like Newcastle at the price, by the way. I do like that as a bet builder. There's 3 picks there, and you can add more to it. 16-5 So over 3-1, and there'll be a 25% boost available on that one as well. So I think that's well worth a look at, going for a bet build. I'd add more into it to bump up the price, but I do like all three of those.
Lee, a game that really needs no introduction. Spurs v Nottingham Forest. Forest 17th on 29. Spurs are placed above them on 30. And West Ham in 18th also have 29 as well. Tottenham winless in 12 Premier League games and still the only side without a win in the Premier League so far in 2026. Forest themselves winless in 7 Premier League games. Should we just shake on the draw now, Lee? I mean, is it almost impossible to put a case forward for either of these sides to win a game of football in the Premier League?
Yeah, I've gone for a draw double across both these 2-15 games. I think, like I said, I just think it gets difficult at this time to kind of really go and express yourself. Tottenham are 5-4. Cannot back that with your money, Sam. 9-4 the draw. 21-10 Forest.
Have a word with the traders, Lee. What's going on? I think tell the traders if they're not watch Spurs play football in 2026 to back them at 5-4 at home.
It's mad. It's absolutely mad, isn't it? You look at this. I was reading some of the stats. It's the longest winless stretch in league football for Spurs since 1935.
Yeah.
Failed to beat Burnley and West Ham, which that's two teams who are right down there. Spurs have won 1 Premier League game since the end of August at home and collected the fewest points of any top flight side this term. 10. I mean, you have to go Forest, really. But I mean, Forest are in pretty poor form. They had the, obviously, game in Europe, went to penalties. He did make 8 changes, didn't he?
He made a lot of changes, yeah.
Yeah, so you think maybe, but there's a bit of all of a sudden, it's a bit of Igor Tudor's starting to turn around after the 1-1 draw against Liverpool, a pretty inept Liverpool performance. And let's be fair, they were already beaten in Europe. So the team who you're playing, they're in third gear, and they were just going, right, we'll just score another one then. If you're going to score, we'll score one. But they don't care if they win or lose. They lost 7-4 on aggregate in Europe.
Lee, it's encouraging signs, though.
I just don't see it. I mean, the draw is the score draw, I think, here. Yeah, I don't think either of them are defensively very good. 16-5, the score draw. So drawing both teams to score. We'll go on to the game and I'll give you the price for the double then. But in terms of goal scorers, you'd have to look at Morgan Gibbs-White, whether it's shots on target or goals, and obviously Richarlison. I mean, he seems to keep popping up with important goals, doesn't he? So he'd have to be the one that you look at, I guess.
So I guess Spurs for us being a draw is good news for West Ham, who play Aston Villa at the exact same time again. West Ham at 18th on goal difference. Villa 4th, but just 3 ahead of 6th place Chelsea. Villa have lost 3 consecutive Premier League games. That's as many as they had in their previous 17, while West Ham have earned 15 points from their previous 9 Premier League games. That's 1 more than they had in their first 21 of this season. Villa, of course, played on Thursday in the Europa League. You know what, Lee? I'm often boring on the show and just go draws in most games unless Arsenal are playing or Wolves are playing. I reckon West Ham here. I like West Ham away at Aston Villa to really shake up the relegation battle and to go to Villa Park and pick up a victory.
Wow, yeah. For me, they're not quite, and that's the first instinct, I must admit, not quite big enough at 5-2 to go and do that. I think, if you think that Villa score, and by the way, they haven't been scoring that many goals of late, that's been one of the problems. And maybe you could add in, if you think West Ham are going to, win with both teams scoring, that might be another way of doing it. I'll get the price for that in a second. You mentioned about the 3 consecutive league games that they've lost. Unai Emery has never lost 4 consecutive league games in his entire managerial career. 1 home win from the last 5 league games. You've outstaffed
me, Lee, there, by the way.
I know, it's amazing. It's not,
good stat, pal.
Not my work.
Have some of this.
I have taken it from an aforementioned website, which I won't mention again. But
talkSPORT.com, obviously.
Yeah, of course. West Ham they're in good form, aren't they? You can't beat around the bush at all. I mean, I've been saying all season long that I think they would still go down, and I still think they've even this great run, they're still right down there, aren't they? They still haven't overtaken anyone yet. This is if there is a draw in that other 2-15 game and they win this, huge. But they haven't won a league game against a side starting the round in the top 8 this season. Drawn 4, lost 8. I'd like to reserve judgment on this because, I mean, Tielemans, they say, is getting near coming back. I don't know how soon that'll be. McGinn played in midweek. Will he be fit to play? Will Somerville be in the team for West Ham? I'd like to know a bit more about who is in that team before I make a judgment on the game. At the moment, I'll go score draw 7-2. And if you have that score draw with the doubled up with Tottenham and Forest, it's 18-1.
Lee, with Forest, Spurs, West Ham and Leeds, on Monday, on my day off, I probably need to get life and maybe get some friends. But I looked at their 8 remaining fixtures. Obviously, they got 4 at home, 4 away. in all 4 teams, there are 4 home games. West Ham have Arsenal, but apart from that, all of the home games on paper look quite nice, winnable games. Like, mid-table teams, lower half teams. I think what makes this relegation battle really interesting is I think on paper, all 4 teams will look at their games, in particular their home games, and think, you know what, there's winnable games in there. And I tried to work out how many points they get, and I did come to Forest finish 18th. They actually had West Ham finishing above Spurs. So before we do the Carabao Cup final, how have you guys priced up who does come 18th once again for those who are interested, Lee?
Yeah, well, Forest are 5-2 to be relegated. Tottenham 7-4, and West Ham the favourites of the ones that are remaining at 6-4.
That's a nice price for Forest, Lee.
Forest would be the value with your maths there. Forest would be the value for you.
I think so.
By the way, that West Ham to win with both teams scoring is 11-2. That's
nice
a big
price.
jump from 5-2. So yeah, if you do like that, go with that. Yeah, it looks like a really nice price.
Lee, we finished the weekend on Sunday at 4:30 with Arsenal, Man City, Carabao Cup final. I am very much looking forward to this game of football.
Yeah, no, I am too as well. We've got a 50% boost on your bet builder winnings on this one as well. So we'll have to make sure that we'll put a bet builder up in the talkSPORT Gold studio ahead of this one. Yeah, great game, isn't it? And it's like, the 2 best teams in the country going head to head in the first cup final. Fantastic. Arsenal 13-10 favourites, 2-1 the draw, 2-1 for Manchester City. Obviously they're a little bit shorter prices, but not dissimilar to the way that Aston Villa West Ham's priced up. Just a little bit, Arsenal a bit bigger and the draw, and City a bit shorter. These games, I'm hoping this is a blockbuster. These games don't always feature loads of goals. 4 of the last 10 have featured 3 goals or more in the final. Last season, Newcastle, Liverpool, of course. Man United beating Southampton a few years back 3-2. City beating Villa 2-1. And then, of course, when they beat Arsenal 3-0 in 2018. Eberechi Eze, again, you wait for the team using the lineups, but on target for Arsenal in midweek again. Scored against City in the cup final, didn't he? So he's got
a real niche
distance.
A real niche stat that one of the great producers here at talkSPORT, Pat, was telling me a little bit literally before I came in here. He has got springtime is when Eberechi Eze comes to life. His numbers in the spring are fantastic. And of course, we're in spring and he scored that great goal in the Champions League. So I absolutely love that bet, Lee.
I love that. Yeah, no, that is nice. I like those kind of things. Yeah, he's been involved in 6 goals in his last 9 appearances, 4 goals and 2 assists. So he's banging form. Obviously, Erling Haaland, you always have to look at him. I know he's kind of had a bit of an in and out, second half of the season so far. Ended the 4-game goal drought in midweek. He has scored in 3 successive meetings with Arsenal, but only scored once in this competition, probably because he doesn't really get much of a look in. He might get rested during the earlier rounds, but I'm hoping for goals. I want to go Arsenal here.
You've got to go Arsenal, Hilly, haven't you? I find it hard to look past Arsenal at the moment.
Unless City turn up and just and try and blow them away. I'm worried about how Pep set up against them early in the season. You remember when he tried to kind of
really defensive, yeah.
Yeah, really defensive, which isn't really him. You think just go for it. This is, they've won this competition 8 times. I think only Liverpool with 10 have got more League Cup wins than Manchester City. They own this competition to a certain extent. And what a result it would be for Manchester City to kind of stick one to Arsenal. Incidentally, we know that when teams win this, it can be hard to kind of then pick up again, having won a title. We saw it with Liverpool, didn't we? I think it was Liverpool a few years ago when they won it. And then suddenly you kind of you've got to go again. So I'm going to be fascinated to see what happens with the result of this game. But I'm going to have to go Arsenal. I think Arsenal, when do you get Arsenal at 13-10 at the moment?
Lee, really good stuff. Looking forward to the weekend. And again, new final one standing this weekend. Make sure you get involved. It's always an absolute belter. Lee, good stuff. See you Sunday.
Looking forward to it.
This has been the talkSPORT Goals preview show. And talkSPORT Goals will be back on Sunday at 2 o'clock on talkSPORT's YouTube channel and as well on your smart TVs.